Hello, my friends, and good morning to you. How are you today? This is Keith from IELTS Speaking Success, and welcome to Tuesday, the 7th of July. Wonderful to be here. Today, we're going to be looking at IELTS Speaking vocabulary, and this is the second in a lesson in a series of lessons about vocabulary. We talked about vocabulary last week on Tuesday, and we're going to talk about it today. We're going to look at how you activate vocabulary, the difference between passive and active vocabulary, some ways of remembering vocabulary, and stuff like that. Loads of stuff. And most interestingly, what role will these lemons play in our class today? Why are we going to be looking at lemons? Stick around and find out. Of course, we've got a riddle. I'm gonna challenge you with a new riddle later today, and we're going to play a game as well to test your vocabulary, of course. Right. So a few quick hellos. Hello there, Abhilasha and Anna, Steve, Almaz, good to see you here. Ruby, Arpam, Zulfiya, great to see you here. Thanks for all your comments that I've seen on the Facebook page. Jenny, Mohammed, Sanveen, Benita, great. Cowstab as well, good to see you. Hi. And Shaksod, Saurablan Gohul, lots of people are joining. And from Facebook, hello Shakun, and also Alex Rawia, Daliwal, great to see you. Grace, Joy, good morning. What a wonderful day, Grace. It is a wonderful day. The sun is shining. It's beautiful. My tree is very, very happy, right? I've got a bonsai here, and this tree is really happy because the sun's shining. You can see it likes to lean. You know that trees lean into the sun. Well, my bonsai, actually, if the truth be told, it's my daughter's bonsai. But hey, plants don't belong to people, do they? It's not like a pet. It's a house tree. Tree house? No, a house tree. Brilliant. Good morning to all of you. So listen, guys, as you're coming in, make yourself comfortable. Get yourself a cup of tea, coffee, or your preferred beverage. No eating in class, by the way. You can't speak and eat at the same time. Right. So today, what are we doing? Just to remind you, as you're joining me, today we're going to be looking at vocabulary. I say vocabulary 2 because we did vocabulary part 1 on Tuesday last week. So today we're going to look at vocabulary. Okay. Nice. Now, just to let you know, I want to just let you know where some of you are asking me, where do I get the PDF notes and stuff? And I kind of sometimes assume everybody knows, but no, not true. So let me just show you on the website, right, where you can get this stuff. So the lesson notes after the class video, right, to let you know where to go after the lesson to get the PDF of all the lesson notes from our live lessons together. If you go to IELTSSpeakingSuccess.com, here you'll find in the navigation bar, it says live lessons. Click on the live lessons tab. And here you can get all the information you need. It's got the time of the lessons, and you can go down. You can download the lessons here or even watch them again. There's lots of stuff here. So you just download it, takes you straight to the area, and then you get your notes, which you can download onto your computer and go and watch at any time you like. Okay, this goes back since we began the live classes. There's a lot of stuff here. But anyway, lots of useful topics. If you like it and you want to make a donation, you can, just to help support me, dedicate more and more time to the live lessons. That would be great. On the website, if you're looking for more free stuff, there are more free ebooks here. There are free ebooks, useful podcasts. You can just download these as well for free, some ideas about websites or podcasts you may want to go and visit. If you want more tips, my blog has articles, top answers, even the Fluency Gym And if you want to know about the test, well, all different parts, 1, 2, and 3, there's lots of information on the website. So please do go and check it out, okay? And if you've not discovered YouTube yet, go and have a look. IELTS Speaking Success. Again, go and have a look on here. You can find lots of stuff, recent questions, speaking tips, and of part 1, part 2, and part 3 videos. There's a wealth of stuff here that you could be looking at. And finally, if you are on Facebook but you haven't joined the group, I do have a group on Facebook called Keith's IELTS Mastermind Community. It's a place for us to share ideas, tips, suggestions, questions, answers, lots of tools and different things that I share. People are asking each other questions. People are looking for speaking partners. There's a lot of sharing going on. So do come and join. Just look for Keith IELTS Mastermind Community. Fantastic. Great. That's it. Sorry, lots of information for you. So great. Azra, thank you very much, saying that you've joined the course. Mary Grace, I have just noticed you. Welcome indeed. And for all of you who are here the first time, big, big, big welcome. The puzzle for today is these lemons, right? What am I going to do with these lemons today? They're an integral part of the class, but what role do they play? Interesting, right? We're going to find out soon. A few of you are asking for speaking partners. Fantastic. Do contact each other through the live class or the Facebook page. Use these platforms to help you get what you need, so long as it's legal. So, contact each other, find speaking partners. That's great. Okay, brilliant. Now, last time, just to recap briefly, right, we looked at vocabulary. So last time, let me show you over here. What did we look at? So last time we looked at some tips, right? We talked about learning words in context. We talked about learning vocabulary by theme or topic. So when you're learning new words, do it in the same topic. So all the words connected to music or the environment or animals, and try and gather or collect those words in the same topic. You can use spidergrams, short stories. We talked about phrasal verbs, how we can use lists and topics, both of those approaches. Some people like word lists, and I think that's fine. I'm not a big fan. I like spidergrams and mind maps. I think they're very, very, very useful. So that's the kind of thing I go in for. We talked about making a note of new words. So when you're making notes, something like this, right? Very, very, very simple. If you've learned the word fan, right, then make a note of the grammar. So the form, is it a noun, adjective, or verb, right? That's important that you know. Be aware of the grammar of the word. The grammar of the word. What is the grammar of the word? Well, it's for example, the preposition that goes with it. I'm a fan of, right? That's the correct grammar of the vocabulary. So they are linked, right? Grammar and vocabulary are very closely linked. So make sure you know things like the preposition, or if it's a verb, is it regular or irregular, right? And make a note. Write down the collocation. A huge fan, an avid fan, a devoted fan of you too. It's true, actually. I am a fan of you too. And then have a sample phrase, right? Now, the sample phrase you may not do for every word. Better if you do, but maybe not always. But as a minimum, 1, 2, and 3. Make a note of these, okay? So we looked at this last time. We looked in a bit of detail at that. And today then, I'm going to look at the first question. We're going to look at how to remember words. So my first question for you guys today is, how do you, yes, you in the pink t-shirt, no, everybody, how do you remember words? Write it down in the comments. Let me know and let's discuss together. Some of you think I'm going to be squeezing it and eating it in the class. I'm not going to eat it in the class. Make a juice? No, I'm not going to make a juice. Website link. Okay, I'll put the website link in it, but I can't put it in the messages, but you can just write. It's not working, is it? That's the address for the website, IELTSSpeakingSuccess.com. That's for Andy Lamb. There you go. Marika, first time, brilliant. Manas, you're loving the course on Udemy. I'm delighted to hear that. Great. Lemonade, not lemonade. So let's see. Let's share some ideas that you've got over here. Some of your ideas about how to... Okay, bear with me. Going to share some of you guys over here. So some of your ideas. By saying it many times, good. By hearing or watching videos, good. Repetition. By speaking. I just practice on a daily basis. Ooh, Shakun. I speak that word whole day, every day, right? At least 10 to 15 times. Wow. Okay. And similarly, Chu Viet Hung has a similar thing, repeating it. Abbas says to write it first. Okay, that's great. Use the words, right, in context. That's good. All of these are good. And all of these are at different stages of learning the word. Elisa says by using them daily. Bright and early. Good to see you here, Elisa. Kavita, using an essay or daily routine, right? Good. Deepika, try and use them in conversation. So remember, this is good. Our focus is very much on vocabulary for speaking, right? And activating it. So all of those are great, great ideas, right? And all very, very valid. Let me come back to my notes over here. So, how do you remember words? I'm going to get rid of me. How do you remember words? Right. Let me make this smaller. So you can remember words through writing them, through speaking them, through repeating them. There's all different techniques, right? All of these refer back to this picture. Let me just take you back to this picture because I think it's an important picture. Right? Last time we looked at this picture, okay? What do we mean by knowing a word? So when you talked about knowing a word, right? Learning a word and remembering a word involves it being passive vocabulary. So, for example, recognizing the spelling or recognizing the sound. But then to activate it means you can start to use it. So things like writing it will activate your writing, but speaking it will activate your speaking vocabulary. So you must practice pronouncing it. You must practice using it. If you use it in context, like an essay or a daily routine, then you're using it with meaning, right? So as well as repeating the word, repeat a sentence or a phrase so it has meaning. And also then you know how to use it. And finally, to be able to use it successfully, then yes, you need to be practicing, making examples, using it in conversation, things like that. Okay, so all of the things that you've mentioned, which were fantastic. Okay, brilliant. Some of you talked about flashcards. Excellent. That's a really, really good idea. I think flashcards are very, very useful. Um, there are some apps that use flashcards that really help. We've talked about spaced repetition last week, where you repeat the word, and then maybe a day later, you repeat it again. And a day later, you repeat it again. And there are apps that can help you do this. And that repetition day after day helps it get into your long-term memory. Okay, so those are all very, very, very good. There are some other things you can do, right? And I'm going to begin, first of all, with mnemonics. So what exactly is mnemonics? Well, this is mnemonics, right? In order, if I can make it a bit bigger, in order to remember useful conjunctions, for example, right, we can use the acronym FANBOY. Okay, so if you want to remember these conjunctions, for, and, nor, a good way, and this is a mnemonic, it's a trick to remember, is to take the F, take the and, take the N, take the but, the O, and the Y, right? And so you get fanboy. So you're using this acronym as a kind of mnemonic to remember the words. So a mnemonic is basically a trick to help you remember. Another simple example, right? To remember how to spell words, because some words in English are very difficult, right? For example, this is true, right? I often struggle with the word believe. Is it I or and then E, or is it E then I? It's I before E, except after C, but there are exceptions. So I make a simple phrase. Never believe a lie. Never believe, L-I-E, a lie, L-I-E. So it helps me remember the lie, I-E, because I know how to spell lie. So never believe a lie, right? It's a really simple mnemonic that you can use to help you. For example, to remember a new word like snorkeling. So I like sound associations, right? I think sound associations are really, really useful. So here, imagine a man snorkeling, but he fell asleep and died. So he snores when asleep, and it's killing him, right? Ooh. Snorkeling. Snorkeling, the man, he's snorkeling, right? But he's snoring and it's killing him. So we're using these sound associations to help remember the word, right? There's lots of these, but the best ones are the ones that you make up, right? Brilliant. If any of you have used sound associations, let me know. Let's just take a moment. Has anybody used these? Yeah, a few of you have mentioned it. So, Tuhina, you've mentioned mnemonics here. Brilliant. Raj as well. So, a similar thing. Break it and link it with something related, right? Which is basically the same as mnemonics. Fantastic. Brilliant. Has anyone got an example of a mnemonic? Yeah, Niraj, good. Absolutely right. And thanks for the waves. Anki Droid. That's great. So Mohammed uses Anki Droid. I save now more than 5,000 words. That's good. And the key thing, Mohammed, is to move them from the passive box to the active box. So you're actually using them, right? Great. Breaking down words into phonics is also a great idea. Sing as I move in the house. Paul, why not? Why not sing as you move in the house? Yes. Snorkeling, snorkeling. Where is the man snorkeling? Brilliant. Translation can also be absolutely. Okay, so Fatma gets, for example, hiccup, has the same sound of its pronunciation. Hiccup, similar. Great. Anything else? Snorkeling. Snorkeling is to swim in the sea with that tube and the mask. So you're swimming in the sea under the water with your goggles and a little tube so you can breathe, right? Excellent. Right, here's something similar, I think, from the PEMDAS. Prince says PEMDAS for mathematics. I'm not sure about that one, but I'm sure that so those letters, I imagine, stand for different things, right? Excellent. Nice. Great. So mnemonics is a nice, simple way to go. Okay, let's move on and let's have a look at the Mind Palace. Now, have you done the Mind Palace? Have you heard of the Mind Palace? Okay. The Mind Palace is great. It's quite effective. I'm going to show you the Mind Palace, actually. First of all, this might be the easiest thing to do. First of all, let me show you the Mind Palace and how it works. In fact, rather than me show you, I'm going to invite my friend. Adverts. I'm going to invite my friend Benedict Cumberbatch to come and tell you all about the Mind Palace. Benedict, where are you? Come and tell us. Come and tell us all about the Mind Palace.
Drop in your own logo. It used to be that if
perfectly all right.
But maybe it's not a drug.
No, it has to be a drug. How did it get into our systems? How? There must be something buried deep. Get out.
What?
Get out. I need to go to my Mind Palace.
The what?
He's not going to be doing much talking for a while. We may as well go.
His what?
Oh, his Mind Palace. It's a memory technique, a sort of mental map. You plot a map with a location. It doesn't have to be a real place, and then you deposit memories there. Theoretically, you can never forget anything. All you have to do is find your way back to it.
So this imaginary location could be anything, a house or a street?
Yeah.
This is a palace. He said it was a palace.
Yeah, well, he would, wouldn't he?
And that's it. He goes round and round and round and round. That's it. That's Benedict and the Mind Palace. So even Sherlock Holmes uses it. As Watson was explaining, it can be any place. It can be a street, a house, but a palace. Why a palace? Because it's Sherlock Holmes. Of course he wants a palace, right? So the mind map, just to summarize what it is, and how it works for you, right, is you imagine a house with many rooms. You visualize, that's imagine, each room, and put a new word from your word list into each room. And then you practice visiting each room and collecting the word there, right? So in each room you have a word. You then close your eyes and you imagine visiting the kitchen and you have a word about, imagine your word list is fruit, right? So in the kitchen, apple. Walk up to the stairs. On the stairs, banana. In the bathroom, melon. And you've got each word and maybe a picture in each room. And then you practice visiting the Mind Palace. Right, is my voice too low? Let me just double check with you. It should be okay, hopefully. Let me bring the mic a bit closer. Okay, great. So that's it. You can do that, the Mind Palace for vocabulary. Let's move on. Other things we can do. What else? Mind maps. So I talked about spidergrams, but here's a very simple example, right? Mind maps are very powerful because they connect the words in the same way like a computer does. So it's easy to note and write down the words. So here's one about emotions, right? And you may have happy, and then part of happy, fulfilled, contented, glad, optimistic, pleased. Somebody was asking about synonyms. The mind maps for synonyms are fantastic because you've got them all here. And it's also easier to remember words using mind maps. Basically, in the center, you have the key topic. You then have thick lines with some key vocabulary. And then each vocabulary point has synonyms or related words. Pictures are very powerful and colors are very powerful. Okay, there you are. There are some ideas about mind maps, also very, very nice to use. Cool. Let's move on. Now, I want to talk about active and passive vocabulary. Okay. And I think this is so important because it's really important for you to focus on activating your passive vocabulary rather than learning new words. So look at the picture here, right? Your active words over here is quite small. And this is true for everybody. However, the pink area, which includes the active words, is quite big. So the pink area is much bigger than your active area, right? And even bigger outside of that, just the blue area, are the new words, right? That you don't know yet. You've never met these words. Now, a lot of people spend a lot of time learning new words, fancy words. Oh, band 9 vocabulary. I must learn that to impress the examiner. But there's a problem, right? Because when you learn a new word, it moves into the passive area and it takes a long time to become active. Okay, so what usually happens is you go into the test, you've got some new words, but you can't use them properly. And because you're making mistakes with the words, either how you use them or pronunciation or the grammar of the word, the examiner knows and it doesn't help you. In fact, it has a negative effect because it looks like you've tried to memorize some complicated word, but you can't use it because it's new or it's passive, right? What you should really do, right, is spend some time learning new words, of course, but spend most of your time focus on the passive words, the words you already know, and try and make them active. That will be much more effective because then when you go into the exam, you'll be using active vocabulary, right? An active vocabulary, right, as you remember in our box up here, active vocabulary means I can pronounce it, I know at least one meaning, I know how to use it, and I can use it. I can use it successfully. And that's what you need. Right? So really, really, really do focus much more on your passive words. That's where you should be focusing, trying to make these into active words. Okay? That's the key thing. Good. I hope that makes sense. It's a little bit, if I can explain it like this, right? It's a little bit, when you go to, it's like this. When you go to a party, right? And you're at the party. You look around and you think, you see people you've never met. You don't know them. Like a new word, right? You've never met them. You don't know them. It's a bit cold. You're a bit nervous. You could go and speak to them and get to know them. But imagine you see some familiar faces. Passive vocabulary, right? Words that you recognize. Oh, that's I've forgotten her name, but I recognize her, right? Like a passive word. It's a word you've seen before, but you don't know how to pronounce, don't know how to use. It's much easier at the party to go and speak to a familiar face rather than a new face. And what happens when you meet the familiar face? Oh, hello, hi, yes, I saw you last week. It's Keith, and you are Raquel. Yes, of course, Raquel. Great to see you. How are you? What's happening? Great, good. And you get to know Raquel. And what do you do when you want to remember her name and how to pronounce it? You go, Raquel, Raquel, Raquel. Must remember, Raquel, 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 like racket, like a tennis racket. She looks like a tennis player. Big, strong arms, racket, Raquel, Raquel. Yeah, Raquel, right? You repeat, you pronounce it in the moment. You make a mnemonic maybe to try and associate the name, Raquel. So next time it's, oh, Raquel, nice to see you. So I've taken my passive word and made it active. It's like meeting an old friend at the party, right? That's one way you can think about it. Brilliant. So how do we do that? How do we do that? Let me show you. How do we activate vocabulary? Okay, I'm going to activate some vocabulary. Let me give you an example. But first, the lemons, right? The lemons. Let me show you. This is juggling. Okay. Stand back. Okay. Lemons. Watch carefully. Stand back and watch carefully. Don't let these hit you. Whoa. 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 They fell on the floor. But that, my friends, is juggling. To juggle. Right. So how do we juggle with vocabulary? Okay, let's take a new word for you. Here's a new word. To sackle. Okay, this is a new word for you, right? You don't know it. But I'm going to teach you the word. To sackle, right, is to meet somebody, meet a person for fun. So when you meet somebody to go for a drink or to have a dinner or to play a game, right, we say to sackle. Okay, to sackle. And here's a phrase for you. I sackled into my friend yesterday. Ooh, that's interesting. So look at the grammar, right? I sackled. Is it regular or irregular? Regular or irregular? Yes, Eleanor, I'm going to pick up my lemons. They've got under the bed. Well, it's regular, right? It's a regular verb. Sackled. It's ed in the past is regular. Notice the preposition, right? I sackled into my friend, right? I sackled into my friends. So Helen, notice that you've said, right? I sackled with my friends. That's a natural mistake because you know meet with, so you think it's the same. But be careful, right? It's not the same. It's sackle into. It's different. Sackle into my friend. Okay, so that's really important. Good. It's regular and it takes the preposition into. For example, I sackled into my friend yesterday. Brilliant. So now I've taught you sackled. I'm going to show you sackle again, right? And we're going to make it. So now it's passive. You've seen it. You can probably pronounce it. Can you pronounce it? Not bad. No, you over there. Say it again. Much better. Yeah. Sackle. So some good questions, right? You're asking yourself some really good questions. Sayantana, is it the same as bumped into? Well, no, right? Because bump into is to meet by chance. Sackle into is to meet somebody for fun, to have fun. So you're thinking about grammar. You're thinking, oh, bump into, sackle, it must be the same. It's not. The grammar's the same, but the meaning's different, right? Razia, it's not really run into, is it? It's not the same because it means only for fun, right? If I run into a friend in the street, I may not have fun with them, right? But if I'm meeting for fun, yes, right? So this is great. You're starting to think, you're making grammatical connections, you're thinking of synonyms, you're starting to get this new word and put it into kind of a passive area, right? Brilliant. You're doing a really good job. This is the process you go through. Hafsa, I don't know how to pronounce it. Okay, so you need an audio sample. Here we are. Sackle. 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 Brilliant. And now somebody is starting to be activating it. I often sackle into my friends to chill out in a local pub where it is slap bang in the city. Now, this is where we start to activate. So what do we do? The first thing I would do, right, to start to activate is to juggle the word. So what do I mean to juggle the word? I mean, take the word, use it in the present tense, in the past tense, and the present perfect. For example, like my 3 lemons, right? 1 lemon is the present tense, past tense, and the present perfect, right? Present tense, I sackle. I sackle into friends every weekend. I often sackle into friends on Saturday. I like to sackle into friends on the weekend, right? I'm just practicing the present tense. I'm just making up little short phrases. I sackle, I like to sackle, I often sackle. If it's a difficult word to pronounce, make it really easy, right? I always sackle, I often sackle, I sometimes sackle, I sackle now and again, right? So just repeat these with me. I sometimes sackle. I always sackle on the weekend. I never sackle. I love sackling. I'm a big fan of sackling. So can you see? We're just using it in the present tense. Let's take the second lemon, the past tense, right? Just practice. I sackled. Practice with me. Yesterday I sackled. Last week I sackled. On Monday, I sackled into my friend Tom. Brilliant, right? And now we're juggling. Let's juggle into the present perfect. I have sackled. I have sackled a lot this month. Actually, no, because of the coronavirus, I haven't sackled very much. Repeat with me. I haven't sackled much this month. I haven't sackled into any friends recently. Okay. Now, Do you see what's happening? The repetition, you're practicing pronunciation. You're practicing different tenses. So you're practicing your grammar, but you're taking this word and you're actively using it in the present, the past, present perfect. You're using the grammar, right? I sackled into my friends, and you're making it active. And this is a key way. Juggling is how you can activate a new word, right? That's it. If you do this with all of your new words, your level, your vocabulary is just going to rocket. Your active vocabulary. Great. Does that make sense? Yes, you've discovered my trick. Okay, brilliant. This is really nice, right? It's difficult to sackle these days. Fantastic. I love it. Anyone up for sackling? Brilliant. I hope to sackle into my friends after lockdown. Fantastic. So you're actually doing it. You're activating the word. Now, there's a very, very important thing here. Hang on, just one mistake. Lulu, this is great. Now, don't worry, Lulu, and don't worry anybody, because when you start to activate, it's really important to make mistakes, and you will make mistakes. That's part of learning. So fantastic, Lulu. Brilliant. So it's I sackled into, right? Not with, it's into my friend. Right? So Lulu is showing us the importance of mistakes in learning. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much. I sackled into my friend. Okay. Now, the most important thing here is you are learning the process, right? Don't think about sackled too much, because our friend Guanyan tells us there is not the word sackle in the dictionary, and that's true because I just made it up. It doesn't exist. It's just a made-up word, right? Snow wolf, what's sackle? Doesn't exist. I just made it up. Why? Because I needed a word that was new for everybody. And I could only do that if I made up a word. The most important thing you must learn here is not to sackle. The important thing is you've learned the process of activating by juggling. Don't be angry with me, please. Yes, it really does. Yes. Brilliant. Some fantastic, brilliant. Laugh out loud. Brilliant. Good. I hope that's clear. Brilliant. Ha 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 ha. Excellent. Well done. Listen, it's time for a quiz. Do you remember what was it called? Kahoot. Now, we're going to play Kahoot. Take a little break, right? Let me just set it up for you. I don't know if any of you have watched the video on YouTube about historical buildings. Did you? If you did, well, you're in a good position because we're about to play Kahoot. And I'm going to show you how to play. Here we are. Here's me. We're going to play the classic game. So what you need to do is, okay, you go to Kahoot. Oh, excuse me. Go to, is that too loud? That's too loud, isn't it? Oh, turn down the volume. Can't turn down the volume, sorry. How do you turn down the volume? Go to Kahoot. Anyway, go to kahoot.it, www. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Enter the game PIN number 5335985. Brilliant. And this is going to be a test of your historic knowledge, historic buildings. Okay. We've got lots of people coming in. Who's in? Loads of people are in. Great. You're all entering. So as soon as you've entered, we've got 40 players. I'll just wait for a few more to come in. Kajin is in. Tihomira, I can wait a second. Oh, Elisa, you go and look after your toddler. Much more important. Okay, so you're all in. So what we'll do now is we'll begin. Oh, look. Adjust the volume. Ah, that's better. Okay. Start. Let's begin. Let me try and get you here. Make sure you can see everything. Get me out of the way. Come on, Keith. I'll read it for you. A listed building means it cannot be built, cannot be touched by government, cannot be pronounced, cannot be visited. You've got 11, 10, 9, 8. You're going to have to be quick. It was cannot be touched by the government, right? 36 right. A listed building means the government cannot touch it. They cannot knock it down or change it in any way. Right. Nice one. We got some good answers in the chat box as well. Let's carry on. Next one. Oh, scoreboard. Elvin Haji. Well done. True or false? Historic means an important event in the past. True or false? "15 seconds left. Lulu says true. Vijayati says false. Puiti Pipi says true. It's true, right? Historic means it's in the past and it's important. Historical just means it's in history. It's in the past. Excellent. Next. Wow, Elvin Haji. I don't know why she's top or he's top and the others aren't, because there's only been a few questions. Kira and Blow and Lulu are all up there. Next question. True or false? Ah. True or false? It is good. It is good to show off your knowledge of history, like dates, facts and figures, in the IELTS speaking test. It's good to show off your knowledge of history. Dawn says false. Turk says false. Puiti Bibi says true. Shakun says false. Effet says false. Harvinde says false. Mary says true. Guys, it's false. And why? Well, go and watch the video, right? No, it's false because the danger is when you give all the facts and figures, it sounds like memorized English. This building dates back to 1852. It was built by King Charles II. That's not natural. That's memorized English. And memorized English is not good, right? I explain this a lot more in the video. Go and watch it. But no, it's not good. Okay, let's move on. Scoreboard, we got one more question. My Rules has come up into first place. Da, 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 da. Sneha just right behind in second place, and running up very quickly behind is Anju in third place. Last question, guys. This is a this is a turret, dome, gargoyle, or bay window. Dum, 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 dum. Umida says false. It's not false. It's which one is it? Which one is it? Dawn says gargoyle. Rimpa says gargoyle. Sanveen says gargoyle. Shahad says red. It's yellow, and it is a gargoyle. That thing, the little statue on top of the building or on the side of the building, is a gargoyle. Guys, clearly you need to go and watch that video on YouTube. Go and check it out. Go and sort out your knowledge of describing buildings. If you haven't seen it, it looks like this. Describe a historical building. Go and check it out on YouTube and really level up your knowledge of history. If you want to know what a turret is, you'll have to go and watch the video. Right, brilliant. Guys, let's move on. I'm going to give you another technique about how to remember and activate vocabulary. It's particularly activating, okay? Great. Here's the next one. Just a quick drink. Hang on. Keep hydrated. Yeah, brilliant. For those of you who are new, I hope you're following me. Really, thank you very much for joining. It's great. Let's move on. So, grouping word lists. So, if you've got a word list, let's imagine you've been studying food and you've learned some new vocabulary with food, okay, and you have a list. You'll notice I'm a very good student, right? I'm a really good student because, why? Because I make a note of the form of the word, the grammar. Is it a noun? Is it a verb? But not only that, I make a note of collocations, right? I don't just write down bread, which is, let's say, your Spanish pan. I don't just write down bread. I write down the collocation. White bread, words that go together. White bread, fresh fruit, right? What a good student I am. So I've got my word list. And a very, very simple activity to practice and activate the words is grouping, right? So you make a sentence. For example, let's group these into things that I like and don't like, right? So you just speak out, right? I've got my list. Watch me. This is for me, right? This is true for me. I don't like white bread. I like fresh fruit. I like sliced ham. I love cheese. I like pizza. I love olive oil. And I quite like fish. Okay? So what I've done is I've grouped them into things I like. I'm activating the language. I'm practicing the grammar. I like. I love. I quite like. Right? Very, very, very simple. You've got some great, brilliant. I like fresh fruit. I like cheese. Great. So what you would do, brilliant. I don't really like pizza. Very nice. So you would go through the list, making sentences true for you, like this. Nadal. Right. The last question is pending. I like fresh fruit. And you can make it more complicated. I like pizza, but don't like to put fresh fruit on my pizza, but the rest of stuff I love to put on my pizza. Brilliant. Great. Excellent. Very, very nice. So that is a very simple technique, right? Grouping word lists. So I actually had, other examples I'm not so fond of, I like, I dislike, and so on. Oh, today's riddle. I forgot about the riddle. Oh my, moly, moly, moly. The riddle. We must do the riddle. Okay, Guys, straight into the riddle. Here we are. Where is it? Come on. Where's the riddle? Are you ready? You're not ready, are you? Yes, it's riddle time. Sorry, I'm moving really fast today. Okay, here's the riddle. Listen carefully. I am an odd number. Take away a letter and I become even. What number am I? I am an odd number. Take away a letter and I become even. What am I? I am an odd number. Take away a letter and I become even. What am I? Oh, you've got it. This was too easy, right? Far too easy. Oh, not everybody got it right. Some said 11, 21. But it is not. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Elnor, well done. 7 is the answer. Take away a letter, S, and I become even. Da, 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 da. Nice. Well done. All of you got that right. It wasn't easy. You're just intelligent. Excellent. Very, very good. Listen, we've got time just for one or two more important things. I know everything's important, but let me share this one with you. Okay. I'm going to do this last activity with you because I think it's so important. This last activity is about collocations, and I mentioned collocations to you, right? Learning collocations. So when you're learning words, do you remember like the food, right? Fruit, fresh fruit, right? Apple, sliced apple. Bread, white bread. Collocations are words that go together. So let's imagine you're learning words about cities and we're discussing, and there are IELTS questions about cities. What's the most important thing for a successful city, right? That's one of the questions. So you may talk about jobs, pollution, safety. I want to know what's your answer, right? What do you think? What is the most important thing for a successful city? Is it jobs? Is it pollution? Is it safety? Is it something else? What do you think? Adnan, the weather in Manchester, I'm not too sure. I'm actually in Spain at the moment, and it's very nice over here. You got this. I don't like white bread. It's not very good for you, right? I have pizza. It's right or wrong? Well, you have pizza for dinner. Yes, I have pizza for dinner. Right, guys, what do you think here? What's the most successful thing for a city? Right, Laura, let's have a look. Okay. We've got safety, unity, clean environment, right? More jobs, says Niha. More jobs, good. Puk. Hey, you're doing the same as me. You're making up new words like the one we did before. Sackle. People, right? You mean people. Exactly. Infrastructure. Okay. Transport. Okay. Other ideas here. These are all very, very good ideas. Pollution. Lively environment. Okay. Now, so these are great. Some good answers. Jobs and safety. Now, think about, as you're answering the question, think about collocation. What words collocate with these words you've given me? So if we talk about safety, right, a collocation, what is a collocation we could use here, right? Well, maybe public safety Collocation, public safety, right? If we talk about jobs, what's another collocation? We could talk about a typical collocation, job creation, right? Collocations. What words go together? Brilliant. Let's see what you've got now. Now things are changing. Look, we've got permanent jobs, well-paid jobs. Excellent. Secure, not secured, but secure is the one. Secure jobs. Excellent. Right, nice. Healthcare, job opportunity. Now we're getting collocations. Can you see? Excellent. We've got pollution, less pollution. Brilliant. So think now about pollution and safety. What can we say? Pollution and safety. Great. We've got public safety. Controlled pollution is nice. Nice. Okay, we've got some on education, which is great. Moral education, academic education. Okay. Prompt. This is good. Avanti. Prompt transportation. Now, it's good, but it's not the right collocation. The right collocation you want here is this one, is punctual transportation. That's the right collocation, right? Punctual transportation, right? Brilliant. Punctual transportation. So what we're doing here is we're basically looking at collocations. Now, I'm going to show you, because you may be asking, well, Keith, how do I know what's the correct collocation? Here's the answer. Look at Ausdic. And I've told you about Ausdic before because I think it's a really good dictionary. So let's do www.do. Hello. Ausdic.com. Leave the site. Absolutely. So let's take an example. Let's put in the word jobs or job. Right? Let's just see. We put in job. And what do we get? Job description. Job. Okay. Job market. Job opportunities. A few of you talked about job opportunities, job prospects, right? Nice, very nice. Job satisfaction, job security, secure jobs, job security. So all of these are job plus noun. But you may also want to look at phrases, loss of jobs, adjectives, right? So high-powered jobs, maybe we think those are important. A cushy job, that means easy, right? Challenging. Some of you talked about low-paid or high-paid. It's highly paid, right? Now you can see which is the correct collocation. Highly paid, well-paid. Fantastic. This is so simple. You've got all your answers here. This is how you can find it. Or let's take pollution. And you can go through a similar process, right? So maybe the government wants to combat pollution. Some of you said that. And here's other words we can use. Fight, tackle, right? So we can go through and do a similar thing. You can decide whether you want adjectives, like here, whether you want verbs, whether you want nouns, pollution plus a noun, right? Great. Some phrases as well. The costs of pollution, risk of pollution, okie dokie. So that's it. It's a great way of discovering the right collocation and then you starting to use it with your IELTS questions, right? So you take your question. Let's just come back just to remind you. You take your IELTS question. What is the most important thing? You think of your answers, jobs, pollution, and then start thinking of collocations. Go to Ausdic. You can use that to get some great collocations. I came up with these, actually. Job creation, job market. We need to combat pollution, public safety, Patateen, patatan, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. Right, that's it. Excellent. Does that make sense? Just nod your head or shake your head. Let me know. Great. So I hope that can help. I think collocations are really, really important. Very, very good for you. Great. You're coming up with lots of good collocations there. Yes. Yeah, no, that's true. Absolutely. Great source, but overwhelming sometimes. So absolutely. So just pick out one or two and think small, right? Focus on one or two and just practice those. There is a lot. That's the new words, right? Remember, you just want to focus on one or two that you maybe are passive and you want to activate them. But it's a very good point. Excellent. Okay. Good. Now, I think I had one more last thing to say before we finish. And it's going to be not that one, it's going to be this one. Test yourself. And I think it's so important when you're learning vocabulary, every now and then, test yourself. Make yourself a test or use an app or use a website, but do test yourself so that you're challenging yourself to really try and remember it. If you test yourself, you will be much more successful in learning, basically. That's it, guys. I am coming to the end. I'm already getting hungry and thirsty. I've finished my honey lemon tea. So we'll finish up. Just as we finish, any other questions? Well, okay, couple of questions. How do I test myself? Saswati, well, if you have your word list, cover it, look at the cue and check and try and say, so if your cue is a picture or a translation, and then just check if you know it. Make yourself an exam, even like an IELTS test. Make your own little tests, right? Draw some pictures, ask some questions. If it's collocation, just put down job, pollution, safety, and then write, give me 3 collocations for each word. Make yourself a little test. It's great fun, really. It's really a lot of fun and very, very effective. Sanveen, what are we doing on Thursday? What are we doing on Thursday? I've forgotten. Totally forgotten. I will let you know. Yes, I can't remember right now what we're doing on Thursday. And it was actually, I did put it in the sheets, didn't I? Oh, I can't remember. I'll go and have a look and tell you. Maybe I should tell you. I should be more responsible, shouldn't I? And tell you right now. I will. Let me tell you. Although, Facebook Live, does anybody know what we're doing? Comedy. This is live comedy. We're doing comedy because there's lots of questions about laughing, comedians, things like that, right? Comedy. I think that will be very funny. Okay. What else? Final question before we finish up. Do you have any tips to make yourself less nervous before the test? I do, Lil. I do. Less sleepy before the test? Well, get a good night's sleep, have some coffee, do some exercise and stretching, do some yoga. In fact, do some yoga. Meditation before the test will help. Even 5 minutes. Get into your zone. Be present now. That will help a lot. And smile, Lil, right? Smile. It's very simple, but it will help a little bit. Great. Guys, I'm going to finish there. Thank you very much for joining me. It's been really fun today. Remember your lemons to juggle, right? To activate your passive vocabulary. All of the notes from today are up on the website. Please go there in the live lesson section, download them, and start really leveling up your vocabulary for IELTS speaking. Brilliant. Take care, everybody. I'll see you on Thursday. Same time, same place. Comedy. Cheerio.